Hello, friends. It's lunchtime. Hey, everyone. It's lunchtime. Time to eat.
What's up, everybody? On today's episode of the Hashtag Blackout Podcast, it's our anniversary, guys. 2 years. Wait. 3 years?
3, dude.
3 years?
Dude.
Oh, man. It's 3 years, and it's amazing. And what we're going to do today is, we're going to eat. Yeah. Yummy, yummy, gonna eat. Yeah. Yummy.
Bruh.
What? You don't like that one?
Rashida Douglas does not approve of that.
Okay. Just eat it.
No, bro. Come on, though. That's no. Mm-mm.
Cheeseburger in paradise?
Huh? No.
Pizzas and cream. Okay, I don't know. What we will do today, we'll talk about some fun stuff that's happened over the past 3 years, just real quickly, and then we'll talk about our food traditions, stuff that we ate growing up. Because that sort of takes us back. It's anniversary edition, so why not talk about all the fun food we've eaten in our life growing up, and maybe a couple things we like to eat now. All that, your voicemails, and more on today's episode of the Hashtag Blackout Podcast. Pew, 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 pew. Man, you ain't like that yo gabba gabba? Come on, man. All right, here we go. All right.
Well, it's funny because we were just watching Yo Gabba Gabba last night.
Is that funny? Nice. See, that's funny.
Yeah.
One of my coworkers was talking to me about that the other day, so it's been in my head, sadly. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to episode 128, our anniversary, 3 years of the Hashtag Blackout Podcast. I'm Jared.
What's up, people? I'm Jake.
And we are back and at it again after a little bitty hiatus. But yeah, man, Jay, how's it going, man?
Past couple weeks, it was going. Can't say whether or not it was good or bad because it was a little bit of both. Yeah. I'll start with the good. I got a raise at my job, which is good.
Congrats.
Another raise, so yeah, they're trying their darndest to keep me there. So yeah, that was good. What else was good? That's it. For the bad, man. So like 2 weeks ago. Well, also another good. Weather has been perfect the past couple weeks, minus the couple thunderstorms and whatnot, but weather's been beautiful. Bad. So like a couple weeks ago, I usually do all the maintenance and stuff on my wife's car and whatnot, on my car as well. So I get onto my wife's car to try and change some oil and whatnot. And I'm trying to undo the bolt that holds that's in the oil pan. I'm just turning, and then bam, the nut strips, and I'm like, I can't unscrew this, and I'm like, oh hell, I'm gonna have to bring this thing in to the shop the next day. Next day comes, I'm leaving, going to the shop, driving along the highway, and what happens? My hood flips open on my windshield, flips up onto the windshield. And crazy thing is, I didn't panic. I managed to get to the side of the road and put it down. But now, like the hood is just all bent and dented and whatnot. And the little corners are like flipped up.
Yeah. Did it crack the windshield?
No, thankfully it did not crack the windshield.
Oh, that's good.
Did not crack the windshield. So I got lucky on that part.
Yeah, for sure. Wow.
But so managed to get in the shop, got all that done and whatnot. So yeah, those were that was like the bad stuff that I consider
so
that happened to me over the past couple weeks.
Yeah, did you get the oil pan thing fixed and you got the hood fixed same time?
No, I didn't get the hood fixed. Screw that, man. I ain't about to pay $1,000 to get that hood fixed.
That's how much it is for a hood?
For a new hood, a brand new hood? Man. Nah, I'm not about to do that. Yeah. That's crazy. I mean, the car is older and It's older, but you know,
Maybe
the
sort of not worth
the
it.
value is, yeah, the value of it is it's pretty down there. And what's crazy is I have more miles on my car, my vehicle, than my wife does on hers. Like a lot more. I have like probably 30,000 miles more on my vehicle. But you know, she wants to or I want to trade that vehicle in. She really doesn't care if they give us, you know, a little back on the trade-in value. So, you know, that's that. But yeah, man, that's how my last couple weeks have been.
Well, that
you know,
sucks.
and it's not even counting the work at work.
Yeah.
The lack of work and all the work and dealing with the people at my job, man.
Yeah.
You know, kind of, it is what it is, but you know, whatever. How about you? I know you went on vacation and did a lot of nice, fun things.
Went on vacation. It was my kid's spring break, so yeah, man, it was good to get out and, you know, just be away for a few days. I'll tell you this though, man. I don't know. I don't see how people love Arizona. Like, I love it for the fact that it's a unique part of the country. You know, there's some beauty there for sure with the red rocks and all that fun stuff and cactuses. And I don't know, wildlife out there is sort of cool, but I couldn't just live out there, like just live and like stay. Nah. Because Arizona is one of those places, you know, it's desert, you know what I'm saying? It's not the driest part of the country, but I think it's like the third driest part of the country, but it's desert. So, you know, there's a time of year, basically like late October, or I guess I would say like November through April, where it's perfect. And then like May to October, blazing hot. You know, like worse than Houston. You know, it could get up to 120, 140 degrees at times, I've heard. So I'm like, nah. Nope. I'm out. It's too hot for that. Ain't got no time for that. Got no time for that. But yeah, it was a good time being down there. We had a good time. We went to this wildlife park called Out of Africa, and they had a show called The Tiger Splash. And just imagine, you know, a bunch of trainers running around inside of a cage, you know, inside of this big cage arena with a pool in the middle with tigers, by the way. Like actual live tigers, and getting chased by tigers. Style. Yeah, Siegfried and Roy guy, and getting chased by tigers, and they're making all kinds of jokes about, oh, he's gonna eat me, blah blah blah. I'm like, one day,
yeah, that tiger gonna go tiger.
Yeah. The funny thing is though, the way that it's interesting. They, you know, we went on a little sort of a little tour, and or I guess as they were driving us around, they were telling us how they train the animals, and they're like, you know, a lot of these animals will get them from birth or, you know, very young in their childhood, within like the first, you know, year or so, and that's basically a time frame that they can train them sort of like you would train a dog. So the animal becomes, even though they do teach them some of those instinctual, you know, like habits that they would have out in the wild, they domesticate them to the point to where, you know, to where they feel comfortable walking in a cage with them and you know, hugging up on them and stuff like that. Now there are some that they will not walk in their cage, just because the animals sort of, you know, drew the line, or maybe they were mistreated at the previous location they were at before these people got them as rescues. But yeah, a lot of dangerous animals like that. You know, like the tigers and some lions, etc. You know, they'll just walk right up in there and just hug on them and stuff like that. I'm like, nah, bro, I'm good. But I also got to feed a tiger, so that was sort of cool. But
that's cool.
At like a really
full grown.
It was like a 2-year-old tiger, 3-year-old tiger, but it was it looked full grown, and you can, I guess basically I did it at arm's length, really, truly. They had a big hunk of meat on the end of a pipe, and I sort of slid it through the gate to the tiger. So it wasn't hand feeding, it was pipe feeding him that pipe. So
interesting.
Yeah. So it good though. It was a good time to get away. And now back on the grind. Got some interesting things going on with hooks, rubs, and spices, and that's work is work. So that's it.
Work is work.
That's it. So
You
speaking, what's that?
I was gonna say, you saw Endgame yesterday too.
Oh
right?
yeah, I saw Endgame. I didn't want to talk about that until
I
was ready.
I really don't care. I mean, I really don't care. I think LaShawn McCoy kind of spoiled it for everybody on Twitter. But
did you read his stuff? See, I didn't read that. I stayed away.
I mean, I wasn't planning. I was like, well, I was trying to just see what people were telling him in the comment section, and I really didn't know what was going on. I saw like the headline, LaShawn McCoy spoils it for everybody, and everybody's pissed. So, yeah, I just kind of scrolled through, and then I saw, but I really don't care about spoilers or anything. That's just me personally.
Yeah, well, but I will tell you, I did see Endgame last night, and boy, oh man, I was in love. Oh, such a great film. I will not spoil anything for you because I try to keep those to a minimum. When I have a chance to before anybody gets to see a movie. I do think though by next weekend, by the second weekend release, of the film's release, people will really start spoiling them, and it'll be more people will be a lot more loose with their spoilers out there. But I'm gonna tell you, man, that movie was great. It was definitely the best Marvel movie I've ever seen in my life. Better than all of them. I mean, better than Spider-Verse for me.
I would hope so. I would hope so.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth the 3 hours. I did not get up and go pee. I know there's websites that tell people when to go pee. I know there's.
Did you go with the family or?
Yeah, the whole family. The kids stayed and they were good. They were in tune. My wife, a little bit into it, she was like, "Man, I really want some red vines," because she wanted some candy.
You better go.
We forgot to get that, so I was like, "Bye." Yeah, so no, she wasn't trying to make me get up. So yeah, she got up at a part that wasn't really, I don't think she really missed anything during the part, story wise. So she got up and she got back in fairly quickly, because I don't think anybody was really out of concessions like that, like they normally are at movies. So
right.
If this movie was high quality, it did everything I wanted it to do. There were great, happy parts or sad parts, but it was well worth the price of admission, well worth the time, and yeah, it was good. And the other thing is, I made everybody pee before we left home. I was like, it's a long movie.
I usually make them pee right before we get in the theater. So
yeah,
they pee at the theater right before we walk into the screening room. Yeah. But they get a drink, and then I say, take your time on your drink. Take your time.
Yeah.
But they end up drinking it like 30 minutes into the movie, and then next thing you know, I gotta go pee.
Yeah. It's true, man. I get it. I will tell you, there's a couple things that happened during the movie that, one was sort of off-putting for a minute, and then I got over it, and then the other one, I just wanted to knock some people out. So one that was off-putting for a minute, initially as the movie started, there were subtitles, right? Mm-hmm. Subtitles, and they just kept going and going, and I for a second I thought that the people who were running the film had messed up, but then I realized as I was walking in, there were some people in like the handicap seats and blah blah blah, and I realized there was likely some deaf people in the theater, so that's why they had subtitles. So I was like, all right, whatever, I'll get over it. Even though when subtitles are on, you do find yourself reading sometimes instead of watching. So I tried to stay away from that as much as possible, but it was hard. And then come to find out at the end of the movie that the two people on the other side of my wife were the deaf people that they had the subtitles up for because they were signing. But hey, shout out to them, and shout out to the theaters for being able to do that, and include those people who otherwise would have to wait until the DVD release. And then the two guys next to me. Okay, so now I know how people used to say and used to feel about black people talking to movies all the time. These two kids who were I don't know, teenage range. They were white boys.
Yeah.
And they were like talking loudly throughout the whole movie. I was like, my mans, y'all got to stop this. But I just shut up because I was like, I know I'm going to talk a little bit too, to my kids or whatever. But they're talking just loud. Just, it was a lot in certain moments when I'm just like, man, come on, just stop. But then
you don't want to be the angry black man in there.
Yeah, no. But then the little thing popped up in my head. Oh, that's just like when people used to say black people talk a lot in movies. I was like, well, okay, I get it. But I think so much. I think they talked so loudly that the people who were sitting directly in front of them, I think there was like a family of 4 or a group of 4, they got up and left. So I don't know if it was because of those kids talking loud or they had something else going on. Because apparently, one of them kept coming in and going out for some reason. They left, but that was it. I will say this, though. Of the whole theater, I don't remember seeing anybody but my wife and those people in front of us leave during the movie for any amount of time. Like, I don't remember seeing that at all. My wife did say she felt like she felt like somebody behind her was like changing a baby at some point in the movie.
Yeah.
So hey man, it was great. I can't wait till you get to watch it and we can talk about it on here. I hope the people out there can watch it too. Get a chance to watch it. I think it's great. So
yeah,
it's
that's
great.
cool. Eventually, I'll see it. We'll see.
You'll see it. Okay, so hey, let's talk about work. All right, let's talk about a One's Gotta Stay that we did a while back. I don't know, a couple weeks ago, whereas One's Gotta Stay Thursday. Who would you keep at work? Your boss or your coworkers? And got a lot of responses. A lot of mixed responses. So, yes, do you have that up by any chance?
Yep.
All right, well, let's go ahead and talk about it.
One Gotta Stay Thursday. Who would you keep at work? Your boss or your coworkers? Interesting. All right. First one, whatever Man Pie says. My boss, I guess. I work by myself mostly. Cool. Started 5 podcast says coworkers easily. Random Ramblings with Rob says coworkers. Kung Fu Driving Podcast says I want to win the lottery and need neither but otherwise coworkers. The John Effect Podcast says fuck all them niggas. So what John Effect Podcast said LMAO fuck all these niggas. Wulong Talks coworkers. J Hook 1 my coworkers hands down. The Brown Girl Experience LLC my boss. He makes sure I get my pay increase and bonus. Understand? True. Q the Great says, I would have to say, boss, my coworkers for the most part are cool. So, okay.
Okay, so there you go. Well, Jay, in your situation, who would you pick?
Man, I would honestly echo the sentiment of the John Effect podcast. Fuck all niggas. But seriously, it's a toss up because some of my coworkers like my boss can be cool at times. I mean, I did got another raise, so that's cool. Wasn't really asking or looking for one, but that's cool. It's a toss up, man. So go.
Yeah. Okay, it's a toss-up. Yeah, I think I always fall on the side of my coworkers just because I don't know. It's just like if you have siblings, compared to your parents, and you and your siblings always have certain things that you'll talk about that you may not necessarily talk about with your parents, or you have friends, you know what I'm saying, that you talk about with certain things that you wouldn't talk about with other things. I think that's what. I think that's my coworkers. I could be more comfortable, relaxed with them. Obviously your boss makes sure you get your raise and all that other stuff. But I go with my coworkers because I think my best friends have always been my coworkers at work. Even though I've liked and respected most of my bosses, I'd have to say I'd have to go coworkers, man, because we could talk about some things that our bosses don't want to hear us talk about. So
yeah, it's weird, man. Sometimes because my boss is like she's only like a couple years older than me. Yeah, about a couple years older than me.
Yeah.
So it's like the dynamic is kind of weird. It's like I don't know. I don't even know how to take this. It's like one time we were at this, I forgot, it was pizza place or something, man, and we were talking. Everybody was talking, and all right, it's gonna I'll mess up, but it's like she was sitting across from me, and she was eating on a pickle. She was eating on a pickle, right? And then, just jokingly, she's like, "Oh my god, I just love when pickle juice squirts in the back of my mouth." It's like, okay, like, all right, see what you're thinking. And so, yeah, but yeah, it's weird, man. She has like huge ass breasts and stuff, and she's not a bad looking woman, but I've caught her in different situations where we'd be all walking together and she just grab her boobs and just be talking about them. So I was like, oh, okay.
She one of those bosses. Okay, I got it. Yeah, I've had bosses like that before. Yeah, I've had bosses like that before, and then I've had, bosses that were the opposite, that, were like
super conservative.
Don't talk to me, blah, blah. Yeah, and so I understand what you got going on there with that boss. That's pretty funny. Those kind of bosses could be trouble, but they're also really fun. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know about fun. I mean, in my situation, I don't know, because it's like you don't know when to cross the line. Because I don't mess with nobody in my office like that. I mean, every once in a while I have like little conversations with a couple of the guys. Because like 9 of us total in my department. So I only talk to like a few. There's like a few older ladies that are like maybe in their 50s and stuff. But and I'll talk with them from time to time, but it doesn't go like crazy over the top or anything like that. Then I'll have like conversations with like the other graphic artist who's a younger girl than me. So we'll talk for a bit and talk about different things. But I remember in the past, like everybody was almost around the same age in the office, so it was just these weird conversations that was going on. I remember one time I was the only guy that day, and then we had like this little office meeting, little department meeting at our little conference table and whatnot, and it finished, and then all of a sudden it got on like the women were like all talking about like sex and penis size, and I'm just like, oh, let me just back out of this conversation and like slowly make my way back to my cubicle.
Yeah.
And I could overhear them and stuff. I'm like, seriously? I mean, I don't know if I should. I mean, I really don't care otherwise. But then, of course, you got all these tests and what do you call it? Like policies and whatnot, certifications that we got to go through, like sexual misconduct and just like being aware of your surroundings and what you're talking about to make sure it doesn't like offend people. I mean, I'm not offended regardless, but it's just that free, open conversation that the boss and all the other ladies are having out loud in this area. And I was looking back at them and just slowly ease my chair back and like, oh, I guess this is not my conversation. So yeah, it's weird, man.
It's interesting when they have those types of conversations. See, I had a boss before that would openly talk about stuff like that. So, and he was a guy too. So he would. Sometimes we talk about it quietly. Sometimes we talk about it, a little bit louder. And this was always in a cubicle setting where there's at least like 10 or so other people. 15 maybe or so other people around, so it I don't know. It's all right when I think it's funny, man, because it's all right when it's like all jokey and stuff like that. But then, you know, there could if you accidentally say something that I don't know offends one person, or if the HR person walks in, because you know our HR person is like, I just closed my ears, I didn't hear that, you know, blah blah blah. You know, but then again, like, people have also been let go or you know, given some kind of, you know, reprimand in other cases where stuff like that's happened. So you know, you just got to know the company you're around to be able to talk like that. Either in the office or even out of the office when you're with those people during work hours. Now after work hours or weekends, talk how you talk.
It's tough because sometimes that follows you to work, man.
It's true.
That stuff will follow you to work. That's why I don't too much engage with a lot of people in my department that much, you know. I mean, I had like friends and stuff that I still keep in touch with to this day, but they've either moved, went to another company, or got fired or something like that. So we all still keep in touch to this day. But other than that, after they left, everything just kind of shifted and whatnot. So it's a weird dynamic in the office. But you know, I hear what you're saying with the HR and stuff like that, man. It's you know, it's weird, man. It's weird. I've seen people make crazy comments to other ladies, like younger ladies in the office, like these older guys that are like their 50s and stuff. They've made comments to girls in the office, and they've took it the wrong way. And I know the 50-year-old, he probably is not thinking otherwise about getting in trouble, but you know, younger girl brought it to HR and to, you know, ethics and stuff like that, and he got in trouble. He didn't get initially let go, but there's like investigations and stuff that go on, and so bigger companies like that, they go deep diving into stuff. You know, have interviews, and so you got to be mindful of what you say, how you say it, and where you say it. So, yeah, that's true. Yeah, you definitely have to figure out and be mindful of who you're talking to, how that conversation goes, etc. So, and the other thing is, you know, you gotta, I don't know, if it's somebody that you know and trust, and you've had, you know, conversations maybe that sort of went that way outside the office, that's cool, but you got to know who else is around you when those conversations pop up in the office. It's everything that happens in the office that really is the scary part, you know. So yeah, man, you never know. That's why any conversations like that, I make sure they don't happen while we're walking around inside the doors. But hey, I've been involved in some of them, so hey, it is what it is. It is what it is. You know, talking about those pickles, talking about laying the pipe, you know, all these things. So, man, I have had conversations where women would just outright start talking about sucking on balls and saying they salty, and I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Where did this come from?
Yeah.
Okay. How did I even get in this conversation? But hey, I guess if they feel open enough to talk about it with me.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
They do.
Okay.
They do.
Yeah, my wife says because of them tight slack pants I be wearing at work, but
yeah, that may be it. That definitely may be it.
I mean, they're just trying to see if the myth is real.
Are you wearing you out here wearing the wearing them skinny jeans?
Not the skinny jeans, just some nice dress slacks and whatever. But I don't. I'm not trying to think that way or go in that direction. So, nope. I'm happy where I'm at.
Yeah. Understand. Well. Yeah. So, people, let us know how you feel. Who you would keep in that situation, your boss, your coworkers, and if you have some interesting stories, you know, like the pickle story, or grabbing boobs, or you know, some interesting stories that I remember from restaurant work where, you know, I'd turn the corner and look in the coat closet and see, you know, two girls like exchanging, you know, parts of their outfit or something like that because one fit the other. And just door wide open.
Else.
No, not exchanging fluids.
Exchanging, you know, rubbing their double clicking on each other's mouths, or you know.
But I have seen a situation where I've been in a situation where the girl was like, yeah, I got new boobs, and the other was like, oh really? Like, yeah,
dude,
come and feel them, and then like right there, like right behind me, like, you know, this is obviously not like on the floor of the restaurant, but like right there behind me, like girl like opens up her top, and the girl's like squeezing and juggling. And you know, back when I was a little, you know, young virile single man, I was like, hey, can I hop in there on that too? You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah. I had a coworker that she's not there anymore, but she had got like new breasts as a like a divorce present to herself. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I mean, they were nice, and I mean, she'd openly talk about them, you know, with me, you know, how it hurt and this and that, and where they put it in at, where they, I guess, inserted the implant, whatever. Yeah. So yeah, when she brought other ladies to kind of see them, so except for me, I didn't get to see my lady, but I mean, I wouldn't mind seeing them, but you know,
like, hey, you know, we talking about all this stuff. Let's stop talking. Let me see what you're talking about. Show me what you're working with, like Mystical would say.
Right.
All right, cool. Well, so now that we talked about that, let's hear your voicemails. Look like we have a few since it's been a couple weeks, so so we'll get right into them. And they sound like they're from our Memphis correspondent. So yeah, we don't know what's going down in Memphis right now, so we need to find out what's going on for the past few days, or past few weeks, I guess. So here we go. And Jay, before we listen to these voicemails, why don't you tell all the people where they could send us a voicemail?
Send us a voicemail 3853-BLAKPC. If you're on a phone without letters, that's 385-325-2572.
Yes,
got it?
Indeed.
Good.
Yes, indeed. And if you're number illiterate, you could just go to one of our pages and find them. So there's one, I think, like on our Twitter or Instagram, one of them have the number on there. So here we go. First voicemail in 3, 2, 1.
What up, brothers? This is Kayla Stevenson. Oh, shoot, that's my real name. This is D199, Memphis, Tennessee. I'm tired, y'all. I'm just getting back from Jacksonville, Florida. I rode my bike Thursday by myself to Florida.
Duval.
It took me 2 days because I started out late, and it was amazing. The weather was beautiful going, but coming back, tornadoes, temperature dropping to like 30. I didn't have any winter gear. It was raining. I got rained on. Then my bike started tripping because we was running like 90, 95 miles per hour trying to get out, trying to beat the storm really, but it was amazing. I went to the all-female ride in Jacksonville, Florida. It was over like 500 women that came from all over the United States, and there was some white women sprinkled in there too, so a sister is a sister, you know. We went sisters, it doesn't matter what color, but you know, it was great. I learned something, and I'm not doing that ride again for a minute because I'm hurting really bad. But I heard Wendy Williams getting a divorce, so you know, I'll call y'all back and talk to y'all a little later. I'm just getting home from the stove. Not store, from the stove. So I'll talk to y'all later.
From the stove. That's dope.
Wow. That's cool. So she took a really long ride from Memphis down to Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Florida.
Yes, indeed.
Wow.
That's a nice little trek.
Yeah. And yeah, she said they were trying to beat the storm. Man, I'm not a motorcycle rider, but I bet that sort of has to be a little terrifying if you have the wind, you know, changing directions as you ride, if you have the temperature dropping all of a sudden, and then, you know, rain or hail or whatever, you know, can come with it. So,
Right.
and you're trying to go
That's crazy.
95.
That's insane. Yeah, I could only imagine, man. That has to be scary. I wish I took up riding back in the day.
Yeah.
I probably would have been riding now. You know, I know, like I may have mentioned on the show before. You know, one of my best friends, he's been riding since he was little, and his dad ride. My dad even rode a bike. You know, for a long time. He had a motorcycle, so I wish I would have took it up. But yeah. Maybe it's good. Maybe it's best I didn't, because I would probably be a little bit too reckless.
Yeah, I'd ride one of those Can-Am Spiders. You know, like 2 wheels in the front, 1 in the back.
Oh, those. Yeah.
The fake motorcycles. Whatever.
Yeah.
They're accepted now, though. They're accepted.
I guess. I mean, I don't know how like a real rider accepts them. I couldn't tell you their opinions on them. Maybe Kayla could tell us the opinion, how they're viewed. Are they recognized in the bike community? If you pull up with a one like that to like an all Harley meet, would they be accepted, or would they laugh at you? We don't know. We don't know. Oh, and I guess if Kayla didn't hear the latest Whatever Man pod, I think they had a question for her that they were going to ask, but I don't know if she heard it yet, and I don't know if Chuck asked it yet. But yeah, you should check that out, Miss Kayla, if you're listening to that.
Yeah, those guys are finally back, and I think they rattled off like 3 shows within like 2 weeks. So I know they're doing some business now. It's funny
the last one was crazy.
Yeah, I haven't finished listening to that yet. On my drive on our drive from Utah to Phoenix area or Scottsdale, Arizona, that's a long drive. So I listened to that first episode when they come back, and I swear it was 4 hours long.
With the kids in the car?
No. See, the kids were watching a movie throughout, and I had my earbuds in. I had an earbud in, so I wasn't. Yeah, it's NSFW for kids. So, NSFK. So, yeah, but maybe not, depending on who you are. So, yeah, no. The kids didn't hear, but yeah, it was a great episode. And yeah, man, they're finally back. I think they said they're going to be a little more consistent now as some things have changed and sort of fallen in line for them. So, yeah, man, happy to hear them back. And B-Rob, listen to him, and even our Just in Time boys. So, among many others, John Effect, Just Say Words, Kung Fu Drive-In, had a lot of listening to do on the way and on the way back. So, dope. All right, cool. Next voicemail. Let's get it. In 3, 2, 1.
Hey, y'all. It's Mr. Steven 99. Y'all sister from Memphis, okay? Look, I bet y'all been like, where our sister at? Well, about 2 weeks ago, I rode my motorcycle to Jacksonville, Florida by myself. Mm-hmm. It was great. I wasn't on nobody's time. I took my time. I made it from Memphis to Georgia. And at night, because I left late in the day, like 2 p.m.,
glad you guys were able to keep your bikes on the road. I'm sure that, like I said before, I'm sure it has to be terrifying, man. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's scary in a car when the wind is blowing your car all over around, all around the highway.
Yeah, let alone a bike. There was something that she touched on a little earlier, with Wendy Williams getting divorced. I'm not too up on the Wendy Williams news, but I know that she and her husband have always seemed to have had issues the past few years. And I guess there was some joke made about poisonous cupcakes thrown in there. And,
what?
The dog going missing. Apparently he got custody of the dog. I didn't even know that was like a thing, to get dog custody. Yeah. And then I guess he called the cops on her. Here recently, I don't know. He had been packing up his stuff, or one of them been packing up, their stuff, and something went down. So, yeah, man. I have to say this. It always makes me sad, when I hear somebody, have a divorce situation, with their life, in their marriage, just because it's not really supposed to be for that. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be forever, but then I know that obviously there's situations where people, just can't come together, or maybe they got together and both of them were in a bad place in life, and it was just one of those things. I know this stuff happens like that, but I don't know. It sucks, but hey, Kayla, you can update us on that.
Definitely.
I do. Yeah, right. I do know that she fell out that one day at her show. She was on the show and she just straight.
Yeah, I remember that. That was. I'm not laughing because of it, but I remember it's just playing back in my head now. I'm just remembering the look on her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember that too.
It's not funny. Not funny.
That was funny. But, I also, Wendy Williams also, she also says a bunch of stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? There's a bunch of stupid and ridiculous stuff. And so that's why I don't really care for her that much. I don't care. But I care. But I don't. Okay, here we go. Next up.
Okay, so it's me, Memphis Eva 99 at yahoo.com. Your Memphis, Tennessee correspondent. So can you give me some advice on what to do when your neighbors are just trifling as hell? So I live on a corner lot, right? I live on a corner. Turn street, I'm on the corner. My back door, my kitchen faces somebody's carport. My neighbor TK is a drunk. Man, Friday, he had a whole bunch of people in the yard. Music. Saturday, he had a whole bunch of people in the yard. Sunday, about 9 o'clock, I hear just ruckus. There's two women outside in his yard, which camera is in my yard, fighting over a damn secret. It's like 12 people in the yard. They took out living room furniture and stuff, and they got a table outside, they got music. And before I knew it, I went outside, hair all over my head, my pajamas on, and said, ease up. Can I get a break? Can I get a break? Can I just wait for Jesus to be resurrected? That's what they do. And they was like, oh, hey, Miss KK, how you doing? We don't stop today. I said, you need to, damn it, it's Easter, it's Sunday. I think it's time for me to move. Okay, I'll talk to y'all later.
All right. Give her a break, y'all. It's Easter.
All
Yeah,
right,
man.
man.
What do you have any neighbors that are like that, or have you had neighbors that are like that are sort of crazy, trifling, do some things, overly loud, etc.?
Let's see. I can remember growing up way back in the day. Not my initial next door neighbor, but like the neighbors on the side of them. Then we had
that boy who came over who was trying to stab us.
Yeah, that one. I know they always had something going on over there. Then like immediately across the street from them, there was this one house. It's just a whole bunch of kids living there. You know, the mom really wasn't there around. The kids were kind of sort of on their own. Their dad was I forgot if the dad drove trucks like like freight trucks around the U.S. So they really weren't had that parental type figure at home all the time. But they were always into stuff, man. There was always something going on, fights in the front yard. And the crazy thing, I knew all these kids. They were like a little bit younger than me. They come hoop and play ball and whatnot. But it was always something going on, fights and just yelling and all kind of crap, man. So the whole neighborhood it had this like little mixed bag of characters, So yeah, but it's something else, man. But as of now, when I first moved here, no, I can't say there's been any type of trifling neighbors.
Yeah.
So we've been lucky. We've been lucky in that sense.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Wow. Trying to think about all the random neighbors. So as a kid, I don't think I had any neighbors so to speak of that, were crazy to that point. As far as I do know, when my wife and I got married, we had a neighbor next to us that my wife always said was like the nosy neighbor. Because sometimes you'd be in the yard doing stuff or talking to somebody outside or anything, and you just glance over and see out of the corner of your eye this lady like standing in her kitchen, just blatant straight up staring out the window. You know what I'm saying? So that was always weird, but my wife at the time was like, yeah, I think it's sort of good because if anything ever happens to your house when you're out of town, she'll probably see it and report it to the cops, right?
Right.
But also that was a time when we also lived on a corner, so and it was a busier street, so you would always hear you'd always hear cars passing by loud and stuff like that, but nothing per se that I could say that really that really falls in the category of the specific neighbor. Now moving here, however, I do have a couple of crazy neighbors. So one that's directly behind us. We have an alleyway between our house and the houses behind us. Driveway into your garage. So one neighbor directly behind us, African people. I can't remember what part of Africa. I think Ethiopia, but I may be off. They like to do a lot of wild stuff. Like they will have their gas canisters and like just an open flame grill that's normally like a camping grill or something like that, or tailgate grill, or the same kind of sort of like a gas burner that you would use for a big pot of crawfish. They'll have it in their garage, full flame, cooking stuff, constantly cooking stuff. And I am afraid that one day they'll mess around and that garage door will blow off and the house will blow up. because sometimes a lot of times they will cook with the door wide open, maybe so some of that can escape. You are not supposed to use that indoors though, so maybe they think if their garage door is open, that means not indoors, though it is. And they have like a little side yard, backyard, so I don't know why they don't cook back there. But then sometimes we'll catch them where the garage door is cracked just a few inches, and if you've ever been around a gas fire or gas explosion, that is not pretty. It affects your house and everything around it. So it's terrifying. It's terrifying. And what's also weird is, there's one dad, there's a bunch of kids, and I know he has a wife there, but then I also know that there's other grown women that live there. So I don't know if those are family members. I don't know if that's extra wives. I know that this is Utah, so I know the stigmatism that gets attached. So I don't know. I don't ask, but I let my kids ask because they know those kids at school. So there's that. So I just try to be nice to them, But another thing that they do is, like I said before, we have an alleyway that separates all of our driveways in the back. Sometimes they'll park their car. It'll be like a Cutlass, or not a Cutlass. My bad. What is that? Like a Lincoln. Like a big car. I can't remember the Lincoln. What?
Lincoln Town Car.
Town car, something like that. They'll have
Big
that
Lincoln
parked.
Continental.
Man, they'll have that parked like long ways in front of their garage, and which is halfway into the driving alley. All of our driveways aren't long in the back. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like a short driveway turn into your garage. So we're either backing out of our garage or pulling into our garage with no space to turn. So I remember one time my wife was like, "Hey, can you please move that car? Because I need to get in. I need to get out." And I guess they moved the car for the moment so she could get out, but then they rolled back around and parked it right back there again. And that's annoying because the first thing that's gonna happen if you back up into that car, they're gonna be hollering and yelling. They're gonna be calling and be like, "Oh, you backed into my car," and you did in my car, blah blah. And when it really should be, you shouldn't have had your car there in the first place because it's not a parkway; it's a driveway, drive-through alley.
Right.
That's them. So I don't know. We just try to be nice and get out of there, and we're trying to move in the next year or so. So yeah, well, hopefully we won't have to deal with that too long. Another thing that happens with, I don't know what neighbors it is, but in our alleyway, that's where we put our trash can for the garbage truck to come, and garbage truck will come down and dump the trash cans on one side of the street just because it's so tight they can't really turn around and do a lap back the other way. So all the trash cans are on my side because that's the side that the dumper grabber is on, right, for garbage and recycle. And people come and put their trash can right up there, and I don't know what neighbor it is, but they'll put their trash can like right at the edge of my driveway, which is normally where I put my cans. So I get sort of mad. So I push those cans way down a bit out the way, because they're in my space. You know what I'm saying? Shoot.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just frustrating, aggravating. But then every now and then, they will, and I know this happens with the African people directly behind me, and then another family that's next to them. They'll have overly packed, overly stuffed trash cans where stuff is just falling out. So there'll be trash just laying there after the trash truck has come. So yeah, sometimes I have to shag that trash and throw it back in the trash can. When really I should probably just pick it up and toss it in their backyard. I don't know. It's annoying.
I hear you.
I don't know. Nobody that's overly loud like that is an annoying drunk. But I'll say, Kayla, if you have a good enough relationship with them, just do what you did. Just yell out and say, "Hey, can y'all chill tonight? I'm trying to go to bed," or, whatever. But then again, it's their yard. They normally could do what they want to do, Normally could do what you want to do. I remember some parties at our aunt's house, Aunt Bernice's house, or some, family gatherings where everybody was outside and it was loud and there was music and there was
extremely loud
liquor and there was food and it was crazy.
Lots of liquor.
Yeah. So I don't know what her neighbors thought, but she just did her thing.
Man.
You know what I'm saying?
Don't know.
No.
But those are some fun times, though.
Yeah, yes, indeed.
Those are some fun times at Aunt Bernie's house.
Yes, indeed. All right, here we go. Next up, 3, 2, 1. Oh, yeah, happy belated Easter. Here we go.
Oh.
Hey, y'all. It's me again. Mrs. Diva. 99. So what's been going on? What's some good topics? I really hadn't been looking at the news too much. Seems like everything's about death and all this crap, so I haven't been really looking. I've been trying to grow my empire with my shirts, and they're doing very well. Now I'm making a few for the men.
Okay.
I'm disliking a job. You know, I wrote a book. It was real funny a couple years ago about using laughter at work. But sometimes you can't use laughter at work. Sometimes you got to get the hell up on out of Dodge. I have a manager and a director that we got two departments in where I'm at, and they don't really care about the department I'm in. At a meeting, I was told, I don't really want to know what you guys do, because I don't understand it, and I don't know, but I think it's time for me to start looking within the company. My dream would be to start do a lot of community stuff and with my t-shirt line, and so I'm working on that too, so who knows. But yeah, I come in and I try to be respectful and I do my work, and it's just they just mess up all types of shit. I don't know. Okay. I'm trying to be good. Okay then. I'm on my way to work. I'm sure I have some other stuff to talk to y'all about. Okay, happy Easter.
There you go. Man. Well,
what has been good in the news?
Right. Well, part of that goes back to our conversation earlier about work life. But then again, you know, I don't know, man. There's just a bunch of foolishness. You know, I don't really care to talk about the Mueller report. You know, because we all know that there's some foolishness going on with our Cheeto in office, and you know, there's people who want to impeach him and people who don't.
Right.
I mean, at this point, shoot, he could be, you know, elected out by next year. So who knows?
Yeah. I think the most interesting thing I am noticing is that this coming election, there's like 20 some odd Democrats running.
Oh my gosh, yeah, and I think
so it's crazy trying to see all this happen, all these debates and stuff going down. I think Biden just finally confirmed that he's running. So we'll I don't know, we'll see. There's a lot of folks running, man. A lot of people got great things to say. A lot of people got some nice, not so great things to say. So we'll see. We'll see where the American people get swayed to vote.
Yeah, this is true. This is true, and I don't know, man. I know that normally, you know, when they start opening up the running, if you will, there's always a lot of people that start off, and then they start to, you know, they start to tail off quite a bit.
Yeah.
You know, as time goes on, and as you get closer and closer to the, you know, to the election day, but I don't know, man.
Election day is in what? November?
Is it November this year or November next year?
Wait, what is it? 2020?
Is it the 2020 or 20 election? So it's like a year.
I think it's 2020.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we got, so they got a good year and a half or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, dude.
Yeah, and it seems like now more women than ever before have thrown their name in the ring, which is a good thing. You know, I think it's good to hear and get perspective from a lot of different people, not just men but also women. And yeah, so it's interesting as time will go on and see who really shakes out in all the groups. You know, Democrat, Republican, Independent, Green, etc. You know, Toe Fungus Party, whatever it is. That'll be interesting. But other than that, I mean, the only other big news right now is the NFL draft and how the Giants pissed down their leg the 6th pick of the draft. That's what I would say. It was, I'm telling you, man, lifelong Giants fan. I also root for the Texans, obviously being from Houston. But, yeah, man, when got to that 6th pick, you know, I was just like, all right, Giants, draft Dwayne Haskins if you want a quarterback. That's it. No other options. And the dude's name started with a D, but his name is Daniel Jones, and he's some like cardboard-looking, you know, boy from Duke, which is, you know, amazing football school. Tongue in cheek, I'm saying that because it's not. Apparently, he's like the prototypical size and weight and frame. But he was only good in like a handful of games. This dude, over his 3 or 4 year career, dude, threw 52 touchdowns, right? That's a number. That's not bad. Dwayne Haskins, who I wanted, and most of the rest of the Giants fans, I think, had come to the grips that we would probably get, threw 50 touchdowns last year on a bigger stage with Ohio State, which is a football school. You know, plays in the Big Ten against great competition, against a lot of guys, defensive guys who went in this draft. So, I don't know. They were just all excited. You know, there were reports that this Daniel Jones guy ran 150 yards or something like that against North Carolina, which also is an amazing football school. Lies. So, I don't know, man. I don't know what the Giants are doing. They basically gave away Odell, let go of some of their other great players for nothing, you know, for the most part. And I'm losing faith in the ownership for hiring this GM who seems to be trash. And there's another thing that's tied in. Apparently, this kid that the Giants drafted at quarterback apparently has ties to the Manning family. So Eli Manning, Peyton Manning, all these guys, Archie Manning, and he went to like some of their camps, and they loved him there. And then also he was coached by the same coach that coached Eli and Peyton, something like that, in college. Right. So they're like, you know, he's the quarterback whisperer. So therefore, any quarterback he coaches is going to be great. Well, if that's the case, why don't you draft like the last 5 quarterbacks you drafted all been quarterbacks that this guy coached? You know, it's sort of ridiculous. So I think there may be a little bit of a coup going on. There are people that say the Giants, you know, don't like black quarterbacks, even though they had a couple on the roster in the past few years. But I don't know, man. It's looking shady and not looking good. I know the Saints got some good defensive players, so I think they're gonna be strong.
That's what I heard.
Again.
We'll see. We'll see if we made it far and get no pass interference call again. So,
man, y'all should have been in the Super Bowl.
Not call.
Yeah, y'all should have been in the Super Bowl playing against New England and winning that Super Bowl.
Yeah, well,
that's my thought.
That was my thought too. I think that was actually a lot of people in New England even been there, but
yeah, exactly, because New England had controversial stuff too.
Yeah, what's done is done. So
yeah, it's done is done.
Yeah, I can't complain about it, but yeah.
Maybe next year.
Yeah.
Other fun stuff in the news. I don't know.
Bun B shot somebody.
Did he really?
He protected his family. He protected his family from an intruder.
Wow.
That's what I'll say. But of course, it makes it sound like, oh, he shot somebody, but he did shoot somebody, but they kind of fell in the headlines to say protecting his family from an intruder. So yeah, shout out to the OG Bun B.
Yeah, and of course, you know, the headline will always read, rapper shoots someone, especially after, you know, the Nipsey situation. You know, it would just be more of a salacious headline than, you know, rapper shoots someone protecting his family, or you know, in self-defense, you know, rapper shoot. Yeah. So that's crazy. Yeah, there was something that popped up, but I forgot about it. So whatever. Yeah, but hey, shout out for protecting your own family. But all right, last voicemail from our correspondent again.
Hashtag Blackout Podcast. Wakanda.
You said Wakanda.
Guess what? I got the neighbors from hell, and I think it's time to move.
Oh.
I come home every night, every day. They got like 12, 13, 14 cars. And I think we already talked about this in a previous voicemail.
Yes.
But every day it's somebody new popping up over there. I get home from work yesterday. They back out again. guess I gotta pretend like I got a boyfriend to come over. I don't know. I think it's just time for me to move. I'm seriously working on my credit. Still trying to build my empire. I got a book that I'm working on, so I'm trying to do some things. But I did want to tell y'all my dad's been diagnosed with Parkinson's.
Oh,
So
damn.
I've been in denial. Yes, I have. So we'll talk about that on my next call. Take care of your parents. Look after them. Check on them. Oh well. The police is behind me. Maybe he gonna clock the next guy. I don't know. I'll talk to y'all later.
Wow. Well, yeah, going back to the neighbor call. Yeah, sometimes you do gotta pull the trigger and find a way to get up out of there.
Have you ever watched Happen Leonard?
Do it now? Happen Leonard?
Yeah, Happen Leonard.
No, I haven't
It's
seen
a show, very good show. It's on Netflix. I forgot the original channel it played on, but all the series on Netflix. I think it's 3 seasons, but yeah, it's like this one guy, Michael Williams from The Wire. He stars as one of the guy's main characters, and he has like some crazy neighbors, and he's actually set their house on fire. Not saying you should do that. It's just a thought, Memphis Diva. I don't want you to go to jail for like arson or anything, but yeah. Maybe you should just pull your bike in their driveway in the middle, in the morning time when they sleeping, and just rev real loud. See how they like it.
Yeah.
Have them pipes going off. Pow, pow.
That would be a good thing. Yeah, do it when they're asleep. When everybody else is awake. Yeah, that'd be a good idea. I like that idea. It's just I can understand how it could be annoying. Like, it definitely makes sense. I don't know what to say to do other than to look for something else, and then also maybe be a little annoying as well, but neighborly, if that makes any sense. Neighborly annoying. But yeah, as far as your dad's Parkinson's, man,
sorry to hear that.
Definitely sorry to hear that, and that's a terrible disease, and that's what my grandfather had. On my dad's side before he passed, and it's very difficult to deal with, especially if that person either stays with you or lives nearby you. Where you have to check on them a lot. It's a difficult disease. My wife's uncle had that disease, and that she would sort of consider him her father figure. And it is just, it's difficult because, I don't know, sometimes they're there with you and lucid and fine, and sometimes they're not. So it's tough to deal with. Definitely, try to get as much help as possible as you can for him and for yourself, the self-care part of it. And try to have family, be as helpful as possible in the time that you can. So
yeah,
it's crazy time. Well, all right. Well, man, thank you for all those voicemails. Definitely appreciate it. It's been a minute since we've been on, so yeah, we had them stacked up. Some good combos there. So now, what we'll do is we'll shift and talk about what we talked about at the top of the show. Is our food traditions. So I grew up in Houston, Texas. My mom is from Louisiana. My dad is from Mississippi. Jay grew up in Louisiana. Both parents from Louisiana. I now live in Utah. He now lives in Texas. And yeah, man, so over the course of our lives, I would definitely say that we have both experienced quite a bit of different kinds of foods. But then also the traditional food that we had as kids and grew up with that we still love to this day, are still ingrained in our memory and in our daily, I guess our weekly, menus at home or whatever. So yeah, so we just wanted to talk about some of the food that we knew and loved as kids and etc. and some other things revolving around that. So, yeah. So, Jay, man, why don't you talk about some stuff that you loved as a kid?
Man, it's a lot because it's, as I get older now, I am older now, I realize it was more, I guess, culturally significant in Louisiana. Eating a lot of different foods that you will not probably find any place else. Maybe Mississippi, maybe southern parts of Texas, eastern parts of Texas, possibly. One thing that came to mind that I used to love smelling and eating when I was young was my dad's turtle sauce piquant, but I can't find it anywhere else. I used to go and catch turtles with him, kill them, clean them, chop them up, cook them, so that's, for me, that's tradition. That was culture and things like that, but I don't do it this day. Do I remember how to do it? Yeah. Do I still go hunting for turtles? No. That was something that I loved. I don't know if you've ever eaten turtle or any of our listeners have ever eaten turtle, but it was pretty good to me.
Oh yeah, I definitely had the turtle before. It's good, man.
Yeah, so that, also growing up in Louisiana, you got a ton of other things. Hold on, let me see, somebody's about to come in this door. Come on in if you're coming in. Hold on, give me a second.
All right.
What's up?
Why are you so loud?
What do you need?
It's not working.
What do you mean it's not working?
It's not.
Go figure it out. Go figure it out then. Oh, Lord. Sorry, man. It's like you get so frustrated when you can't figure out a game or something, and old school Papa has to come to the rescue and beat whatever character. So I don't even know what I'm talking about. Other stuff in Louisiana that we're used to eating. Of course, boudin. Nobody makes it better than Southern Louisiana. There's a difference between the northern part and the southern part. So, and it's only in a little pockets of Southern Louisiana that you find really great boudin. I mean, I hadn't had any in New Orleans, but you go from that central to southern portion and you get some really great boudin. And I guess, what is that place called? Not Razoo's, Papados? Is it Papados? I don't know how many Papados they got around. They got it around the country, but nah, I had it there. Nah, that ain't it. Walmart has some that it's decent if you can't find any good one. It's decent if you throw it on the grill. It's just decent at best. It's not awesome or phenomenal.
Which one was that called again? I was looking for the name.
Zoomies or something. I don't remember. It's the only one at Walmart in like the brat section. But theirs is decent at best. Of course, the crawfish balls that are all over the United States. You could get crawfish shipped from Louisiana and have it to your door in like 24 hours or something like that. Nice. If you order through certain companies, you got the crawfish etouffees. You got, what else? You got your po' boys that are varied. They're different from like New Orleans going and then traveling westbound through the central portion of Louisiana. So they're a lot different, with bread and whatever. I mean, I'm pretty much just talking about food traditionally in Louisiana, not food traditional to me. Of course, gumbo's always a big thing. My parents make gumbo, probably every other week, I'll say. Even in the summertime, people always complain about, oh, it's so hot to have gumbo. Like, isn't your other food hot too? So, gumbo. What else? Lots of fish. Lots of fish coubillon for those people out there who know what I'm talking about. It's weird, man. It's a lot of foods that are tradition and culture in Southern Louisiana that you can't find anywhere else. Like I grew up calling rice, or what everybody else called dirty rice. I called it, always
Yeah.
knew it as rice dressing. But then you travel other places and it's like dirty rice. Okay, you got
Yeah.
that stuff. You got your jump, you got all that there.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah, I could go on and on about the things I used to eat growing up that are just staples in Louisiana versus every other place.
Yeah.
So I don't know. What do you got? What's your Texas,
Man.
Houston cultural food traditions or whatever?
Yeah, it's interesting because I do appreciate the fact that you call it rice dressing, but other people call it dirty rice. I used to call it a little bit of both, but I think I normally said dirty rice more than anything. And also,
not
yeah,
to cut you off, but like even crackling. Like I showed you a picture of crackling, like hard crackling, like a lot of different places. Just it's not the same as when I grew up. It's like I go in there, you think crackling, and it's just like these little. I don't know, man. I can't even describe the look of it. It just looks like little skin, crispy, whatever's. But I'm used to the crackling where it's like you got your fat, you got layers of like hog meat or pork, and then fat, and then you got the skin on it all together as one instead of just like fried skin or fried fat. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm used to versus the other thing.
Yeah.
It like trips me out when like some here will say, "Oh, I got some crackling." And I'm like, "Let me try some," and then I look at them like, "Nah, I can't have that. That don't look right."
Yeah, they gotta have some meat on them.
Yeah.
I bought some, some like at a store, in a plastic, plastic bag. They sort of look like pig skins, rather than crackling.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man. I had some more recently, and I was just like, nah, I'm good. Here, that I found here. So, yeah, but like I said, man, I appreciate Louisiana food because my mom is from there. She's your dad's sister, and then my dad is from Mississippi. So, I guess my Texas food traditions are basically a fusion of Louisiana, Mississippi, Southern soul food, comfort food, and then also Texas food. So, being from Texas, barbecue is a big staple, and with Hooks Road being my business or whatever, I sort of fell in love with barbecue as a kid. So anything on the grill, anything smoked, so obviously like the briskets, chicken wings, chicken leg quarters, used to be one of my favorite things. I don't see it as much in stores here. Leg quarters, I just see, split or whatever. But yeah, I love that type of stuff as a kid. But then also, mix into that, soul food, and the like. So, you have your mac and cheeses, you have your, Big Red to wash it all down with. You have your cornbread, your cornbread dressing, all kinds of stuff like that. But then, so we have all this stuff, right? We have all this stuff. We have greens. Oh man, greens with a little bit of ham hocks. Don't even get me started, man. I love that stuff. We have all that stuff, but then on top of that, with it being Texas, you have a little bit of Mexican mixed in. So you got fajitas, you got tacos of all kinds. You got sweet tea, and sweet tea is a thing. It's not just the tea that you brew and you drop a bag in. Like, it is like some straight up tea with a bunch of sugar in it, and it tastes. It's the best stuff ever. You know what I'm saying? If you find a place with some great sweet tea, then that's pretty much the only kind of sweet tea you like to keep going back to. But then we have a couple of different chilies, right? So you have chili. I don't like bean chili. I like meat chili. But then you have chili con carne. So it's like a Tex-Mex version of chili. So chili with meat, but it's more like spiced like a Mexican dish rather than, just a straight up chili dish. Chicken fried steak, chicken fried chicken. In Texas, we like to fry everything possible. So, yeah, man.
I noticed Oreos, Twinkies.
I'm telling you, man. Go to that Texas State Fair.
Fried
in
ice
Dallas.
cream. I still don't
You'll
understand
find
that one.
everything fried. That's absolutely fried margarita, fried cheesecake. You know, fried everything. Fried butter, fried bacon.
Fried bacon. I didn't get that. I saw
Deep
fried
fried
bacon. I know they wrapped the. I think they wrapped the hot dog with bacon, battered it, fried it, and did something else and fried it again. And I'm like, damn,
Double fried,
my heart hurts. My heart hurts. My chest hurts
Yeah.
just looking at that.
Double frying something is actually a big thing. Like, it's a good thing because that's actually what makes fries crispier if they double fry them. So they'll flash fry them for, a few seconds, pull them out, let them rest a couple seconds, and then they'll drop them back in there again. So it keeps them super hot on the inside and a little crispier on the outside. So I love when there's like a double fried, something like that, as long as it's not burnt. Let's see here. So breakfast tacos, it's a big thing. And now it's more prevalent around the country, but when I was a kid, man, I love some breakfast tacos, some good soft tacos, breakfast tacos. Another thing that is big in Texas that I grew up with and I didn't really realize was not a thing in most other places was kolaches. You ask somebody here what a kolache is, they think you're talking about a disease. They don't know what it is.
You got that kolache in your foot?
Man, right? And I got that kolache cut out my body the other day. No, a kolache is basically a pig in a blanket. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Right.
To boil it down to its simplest meaning, is basically a pig in a blanket, and it's a Czech dish. That was made popular in this little town in Texas called West Texas, and really it's sort of expanded from there. But outside of Texas, kolaches aren't really a thing as far as I know. There's other forms of that, but they don't call them kolaches, and they're just not made the same way. But yeah, man, it's basically a roll or some kind of pastry dough that's baked with meat inside of it, or meat and cheese, or meat, cheese, and vegetables. Yeah, man. So I've been thinking about menus for hopefully eventual, food truck for Hooks Rub, and yeah, man, there's some form of kolaches that I've been thinking about on the menu, because that's just not a thing. There's one place here that makes kolaches. They're a Czech place, but they're not close to me, and they're always closed at like noon. So if I can make it over there on a work day or even like an off day, I'd be happy to try them out. But people say they're great. People from Texas say they're great that I know. So cobblers, we love cobblers. We love blueberry cobbler. We love or not blueberry cobbler. Yeah, blueberry cobbler. Apple cobbler, peach cobbler, all the cobblers, pecan pie, ice cream, just Bluebell, best ice cream in the country. And yeah, comes from Texas.
No, those just like, I guess, let me see how I'm trying to ask this. Not just a staple in Houston, because, like, I guess growing up in Louisiana, even though we're like state next to neighbors, that's something that, we've grew up with as well. But I'm just,
Bluebell?
No, well, Bluebell, ice cream, cobblers, and whatnot, and all the soul food that you were mentioning earlier, as well. I'm guessing that's just like the things that you knew growing up. That's
all
the food
things
that you knew. That I mean, and it's pretty much, it's everywhere. I guess you could say that. Especially the soul food aspect of it that you were mentioning earlier. I guess more so in the South, if you want to call it that. I'm just wondering, like, are those just things that you consider only a Houston thing, or only a Texas thing, or are you looking at every?
I would say that these are more just Texas things per se, not just a Houston thing. Because I think Houston is a big mix. Thankfully, I lived in a cultural melting pot when I grew up. So people from a lot of different nations, a lot of different food types. Between Asian food, Mexican food, Tex-Mex, Louisiana, you name it. But then, some of these things are definitely just Texas specific. In Bluebell, they don't have that here. Nobody knows what that is here. There's, some other ice creameries that are, sort of like Tillamook, who makes the cheese. They have an ice creamery that's over in Seattle, or not in Seattle, but in Oregon, something like that. So that's like, one of the nearest big creameries to here. So that's where, ice cream is a thing. There's not a big like cattle business here. So beef is not it's a little more expensive, than it is in Texas, where there's a big cow farm. There's cow farms everywhere. Right. So yeah, so ice cream is one of the things that Bluebell in Texas is like a staple. If you've been in Texas or anywhere in the surrounding states, I guess, or states that it ships to, it's amazing, and it's one of those things. And Frito pie, that's not a big thing here, I have to say. I remember that being a Southern thing, being from the South and being sort of a hodgepodge of flavors. It was sort of like the first fusion, if you will. Fritos, chili, cheese, some onions, maybe some mustard, something like that. Chili con queso, man, that goes back to the Tex-Mex. You can't find that here. You find it here at the few Mexican restaurants here, and it doesn't taste anywhere near the same. So I would call that a Texas traditional food. And the margarita, I'm not sure the margarita was actually like a Mexican drink, before it came to like Tex-Mex food. Maybe it was, but I'm not quite sure it's a Tex-Mex drink. And it's made perfectly down south, I would say, or any state where they actually knew liquor laws and knew how to serve and sell liquor, not as much in Utah. Right. Two other things that I'd say were Texas staples growing up, that I had a lot of, Dr. Pepper and Big Red. Mm-hmm. Dr. Pepper, is the home of Dr. Pepper is in Texas, in Waco. So that's basically the only thing that ever came out of Waco that was good. The second thing was Big Red. Oh man, one of the best drinks ever. And then, boy, they messed me up when they came out with Big Blue, Big Peach, Big Pineapple. They had all kinds of flavors. I was gone. But yeah, so those are things that I remember as a kid growing up, eating a lot. My mom and dad, made a lot of stuff from their childhood too. But then mixing in all those Texas things, the Tex-Mex food, you can't find anywhere better than in Texas. Even places here where people claim to be from the state or some from the South and try to make it, it's just not the same, man. It's just not the same. So yeah.
I hear you. Now, are you trying to pass on those traditions to your kids?
Some of it,
as far as like, I guess the certain thing. And the only reason why I ask is because, like I was talking earlier, like there are things only that I could only see people in Louisiana eating, like as far as like, the etouffees and jambalayas and things like that are, I guess, a staple here. They may be practiced, they may be eaten in other states, but when you think of that, you think of Louisiana. I mean, you say if you mention barbecue, every place has like, I guess, their own certain, but like you got your Kansas City type barbecue, you got your Texas barbecue, you got barbecue from like Atlanta or Georgia type, or the Carolinas, Nashville or Tennessee, Memphis type barbecue. Everybody, but you can't really say, when people say barbecue, I don't think they think of like one specific state, unless I guess it's said while they're saying it. But then if you say Kansas City barbecue, then only those people who are like barbecue aficionados know, I guess, can distinguish a taste. And exactly. So just passing on a particular Texas tradition to your kids, showing them how to cook certain things. Are you doing that? Are you taking actions to do that? Do you even care about
definitely, it? Definitely, man. I mean, from the barbecue aspect, yes. I guess there's a certain technique, and I'm not sure the kids they'd be able to wrap their head around it yet. But yeah, from that, yes. Also from other aspects, like the Tex-Mex with tacos, stuff like that. Yes. But then there's some things that my mom sort of cooks, that sometimes I am and aren't successful, am not as successful in cooking, like the dirty rice or rice dressing, things of that nature. So yes, I am trying to hold on to those. The crazy thing is Utah is one of those states where it doesn't really have like a food type that you would say, oh, that's a Utah thing. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Like Louisiana, you just rattled off a ton of things that you would say, yeah, that's a Louisiana thing. If I said brisket, people think Texas, right? If I say Tex-Mex or enchiladas, like a lot of times people think Texas. When you say any food here, there's nothing. There's a lot of hunters here. There's a lot of hunters here. There's a lot of influence from like the Pacific, Asian food here. Also, and then the other thing, which I think is just astonishing, is the fact that there's a huge like Samoan and Tongan culture here, and I can't identify what their food is. I know it's probably something to do with seafood since those are islands and things like that, but there's nothing that's there's nothing that's super identifiable. You know what I'm saying? There's all the foods here, which makes it an insane place to eat and try to have traditional food. Now, I will say this. Actually, there's a couple things that I will say are Mormon style things, which Mormon is the I guess would be like the more prevalent religion in the state. Funeral potatoes and there's another one. I try those. Some kind of beans, I can't remember what it's called. But yeah, funeral potatoes, and then what they call it, green jello, right? So green jello was apparently like a big thing for Mormons, because for a long time I don't think they couldn't eat chocolate, not because they're racist against black people, but because they couldn't have caffeine, right? So they had jello, and they would always make it with like fruit, right? Or they'd make different layered jello, and there'd be like some weird cream, like thick cream layer in between the colored layers of jello. Make it like rainbow jello. But then also, like I said, they put in like fruit. So I don't know. So that's whatever, but that's like definitely a Utah thing. Another thing, like I said, funeral potatoes. So do you know what au gratin or scallop potatoes, with bacon and cheese and all that stuff is?
Yeah.
That's basically where funeral potatoes is.
Okay.
So it's not like a thing that they created. You know what I'm saying? It's like a thing that everybody else in the world calls like potatoes au gratin. Yeah, and they call it that.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I mean, even though there's like a big like hunting community here and fishing community, like you wouldn't say that like, oh, maybe like deer sausage. I don't know, but you wouldn't say you only come to Utah to get deer sausage. You know what I'm saying? You come here for the stuff, and then that's about it. One of the more unique things I did have one time though was funeral potato bites, and basically they just made that potatoes au gratin, balled it up, battered it, and deep fried it into an appetizer, and that was great. But yeah, man. So
French fry balls.
It's an interesting place. Yeah, French fry balls, pretty much. But I'll tell you this, man. The best food here I've ever had are from food trucks. There's so many good food trucks, so many different kinds, and so many different really good types of food that come from those trucks. Other than that, I couldn't tell you what Utah's food is. I just can't. So that's why I try to give my kids some kind of perspective on the food that I ate as a kid. And my wife, being from Utah originally, she also doesn't have a quote unquote food type, that she revolves to, I would say, because being from here, so she sort of eats a little bit of everything. But the problem with making all foods in my house is some people don't eat beef, unless it's a hamburger.
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
and I have a picky daughter, you know, because of food allergies. And my son is like me; he'll eat anything. So sometimes our meals are multiple different things, you know, to make the meal work. So
Understand that. Understand that.
I don't know, but yeah, I try to teach them some of that stuff, and I know you have a unique situation. With two different cultures, if you will, three.
Yeah. I mean, of course, my wife, she grew up in Louisiana as well, but she's like half Thai, so. And her mom owned a Thai restaurant, so she does know how to make quite a bit of Thai dishes, and she's already started teaching one of my sons, or I guess both of them, like little things here and there, like how to make certain dishes and whatnot. But I don't know. I think for me, I could show them. I kind of showed them some things, but let's go back to the catching and killing and cooking your own food. From what my dad showed me, from just like fishing for food and you know, cleaning it and cooking it that way. I mean, that's a tradition, I guess, all over the world. You know, you catch your food, you eat it. So, but like turtle, for instance, I say turtle sauce pecan. But I know my oldest son, he's a animal lover. So if he would see the process of catching a turtle, killing a turtle, chopping it, you can't. I don't know how that would affect him, you know, as far as like being an animal lover, because he's practically a vegan at 9 years old. He only eats rice and vegetables. I mean, the only thing you could kind of get him to eat is chicken nuggets or hot dogs. Some hot dogs, not all hot dogs. Turkey dogs.
Yeah. There's specific hot dogs, right? My daughter will not touch certain macaronis. I know what you mean.
My kid won't even eat macaroni, man. Everything, it has to be rice, which is, you know, kind of a staple in Asian foods. You know, he'll eat rice, he'll eat papaya and stuff like that, and different types of fruits and vegetables. But I even had a lady told me he was 3 years old, 2 years old, almost 3, and we were at like the hospital when my youngest was born. I went to get him some raw broccoli, and the lady looked at him like, raw broccoli? What kid eats raw broccoli? Ugh. You know, so he eats raw broccoli. He eats like raw vegetables and things like that, not really cooked. So yeah, but trying to teach them like those type of things, that's gonna be it'll be a little difficult, but you know, for those aspects of like catching and killing, like rabbits and stuff like that, you know, he wouldn't want to do that.
Man, I'm gonna tell you, it's so funny that you say that, because when we were out of town, you know, we're at dinner with my mother-in-law, and you know, we got this, you know, talking about like different things or whatever, and I was like, yeah, I've had rabbit before, yeah, I've had duck before, it's so good. And my kids are sort of like your kid, like they're like, why would you kill a precious little rabbit to eat it? Why would you kill a precious little duck to eat it? Now, whereas my son would be like, yeah, I'd try it. My mother-in-law, my wife, and my daughter were just, I would say, mortified at the fact that somebody would eat a rabbit. And I was like, well, I'm from the part of a country, and my family's from the part of a country that would eat anything, because it's country. You know, it's not like up here. Whereas up here, people wouldn't touch that. They'd be like, you know, more the traditional, you know, beef, chicken, fish, you know, shellfish, you know, and like just shrimp and crab, shellfish, not even like crawfish. Even though the crawfish up here, I would be like, nah, let's go. I'll taste some rabbit. You know what I'm saying? I'll have duck. You know, I'm like, and I'll tell them, you know, chicken. That duck tastes just like chicken. And they're like, no, it can't taste like chicken. That doesn't sound right. Blah, blah, blah.
Rabbit too, man. So just tastes just like chicken.
Yeah, exactly. So that's interesting. But it's the same way, man. Like, people freak out up here. You know, they don't understand these things.
And just the cleaning process of just that would get people, you know, just mortified.
Oh,
you
it'll
know,
freak you out. Yeah.
Oh
turtle,
man,
same thing. Yeah.
I've watched my dad chop so many turtle heads off. It's like in my head. I know exactly what to do and what not to do.
Yeah.
and these are huge ass like snapping turtles. So
Yeah.
it's a part of my life I love doing growing up,
Yeah.
doing all this stuff, eating it, and just all this food that I grew up with, man.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
good, man.
So if you were to make like sauce pecan with turtle, or if you were to make like a turtle stew or something like that, where the kid would just think it's just meat and not necessarily know it, do you think you could pull that off at your house?
Do I think I could pull it if I didn't tell them?
If you
that
didn't
it
tell
was
them.
a turtle, it's possible. I mean, like I said, my oldest, he won't try any type of meat, regardless. I mean, even if I slice a little bit of chicken breast off, he's still like iffy about it. But my youngest, he may try it just to say, hey, I tried it. What was that? It tastes pretty good. He's that type of kid. So yeah, it's possible I could do it.
Yeah, I think the same, because there's been times where I made stuff and I didn't necessarily tell them what it was. I was just like, oh, this is enchiladas, or oh, this is such and such, and after they like if I had have told them beforehand what it is, like my daughter wouldn't touch it. You know what I'm saying? My son would try it. My wife may not touch it, but then, while they're eating it or after they're finished, I'd say what it is, and they'd be like, "Wow, that was actually good." We should have that again. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think it would be one of those things where it'd have to be more of a surprise. You just, what the heck was that? Somebody just fall down?
Oh, I thought it sounded like explosion or something.
Yeah, it was like something like, it sounded like somebody just fell down upstairs or somebody dropped something upstairs. Anyway, no, but it'd be more like a surprise. You just ate this. And then they would, then they would be either, just horrified that they just ate that, or they'd be like, oh, okay, let's have it again. So you never know. I have gotten some never make that again, Daddy. Before,
wow, that's crazy.
There's been some of those, but yeah, man, but. All this to say, like, I think it's a great thing to be able to teach your kid, traditions of what you would eat or what you would cook, that you grew up with, maybe the way that your parents cooked it, or maybe your version of what your parents cooked.
Yeah, I just don't want it to get lost, generation to generation,
Yeah, not at all.
So I'll teach it to them. The only thing is, it'll have to be like a constant thing of doing it over and over again, so that it's kind of like ingrained in their brain to know how to cook this and know how to live and live off of I dare to say live off of the land, just in case shit hits the fan and
zombies
everything.
Show up, man.
That or any other craziness that's going on in this world, and especially all the crazy food additives and hormones and GMOs and all that other mess that's getting put into our foods. I'm trying my best to get away. I wish I had enough property so I could have some chickens and stuff, and I could kill my own chickens and whatnot. So, but yeah, I don't know, man. They're still young now, so eventually I'll get to. Hopefully, I'm around long enough to pass on those things to them.
Yeah, understand. Yeah, and yeah, man. I think a good thing that we did was when the kids were young. I think we made a lot of random stuff like the cookies and cornbread and things like that, and grits with them. Oh man, I didn't even talk about grits, man. Love grits, man.
Oh yeah,
cheesy grits or grits of butter, cheese, salt, and pepper, man.
That's crazy. I remember I didn't have cheesy grits until like I went to your house or something like that, because we never even thought about putting cheese in grits. It was always just a little bit of salt, maybe a little bit of pepper, black pepper, and that was it. I went to another place, and I know a lot of places do sugar grits. I never had them before, so I couldn't tell you if it's tasty or not. But a lot of people claim
called
that.
cream of wheat. Yeah, that should be called cream of wheat or malted meal. That ain't no grit.
Oh man, yeah, it was weird because we had visited New Orleans like was it a couple summers ago. You know, we just had like a couple of days just to go down there. Went to one of the local restaurants and whatnot, and I told them, just give me some grits, a bowl of grits and eggs and whatnot. That's what I grew up on, grits and eggs.
Mm-hmm.
Hell, grits and rice too when we was like real broke. I mean, not grits and rice, egg and rice. So yeah, but he asked me for one sugar in my grits. I'm like, what? Nah, just put a little bit of salt, pepper. Go ahead and add a little cheese, I guess. So he did that. They came out dope, but I was just wondering about the whole sugar grits thing. I probably should have asked him.
The grits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's another thing. Like here, people will have sugar grits or they'll have sweet grits. My wife, talking about her, Utah food experience, she likes grits with syrup. I think that's disgusting.
Interesting.
But like if my mom ever makes it, like when she lives in Houston, yeah, I've tasted it. It tastes like cream of wheat, man. But then, like I said, she loves cream of wheat. She loves malted meal, so that's probably why she likes that. Because she'll put, brown sugar or something like that, or she'll put brown sugar in her oatmeal. So that sort of leads to that. She just thinks it's. I think she thinks it's all in the same like vein, of granular looking food. But nah, man, she eats like that. I think it's bad. We go visit my family, and my mom makes a big pot of grits. My mom just will do like some butter in them, but then everybody else sort of scoops their bowl and does their thing with them after that. My wife will say, "Hey, you got any Jemima or some syrup?" I just think it's bad, but whatever. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think it's I think I've told you before. I had a coworker here who put granola.
Yeah.
Blueberries and raspberries in her grits, and I looked at her like she was crazy.
Yeah.
But
there's another thing.
It is what it is.
Yeah. It's where I look online and I see like every once in a while I get on Facebook and I see one of my friends who grew up in Louisiana, actually one of our cousins. I guess we didn't really hang out growing up, but he is related to us. Like my parents would put like boil an egg at the bottom of their gumbo, and just eat an egg with it, and a lot of people would look at that as like nasty or something, and then I start looking at all these other videos.
Gumbo?
Yeah, just a whole boiled egg. It's not like it's cracked and boiled and cooked with it, but it's just a boiled egg at the bottom, and then just eat it afterwards. Crack it open and eat it afterwards. And then I look at other videos of people, and I'm sure you've probably seen these too, where people put like hot dogs or carrots or something in their gumbo and whatnot. And then you see, and that's the thing. A lot of people are doing like nah, but then when you actually think about the African tradition of gumbo, it actually all fits in the same thing. It's not like a traditional Louisiana gumbo, like sausage chicken or maybe like some type of seafood, but this is what they did back in the day. I'm not saying they put hot dogs in the gumbo, but it was like you put a combination of stuff in a pot, you cook it,
Yeah.
That was the whole idea
just
behind the gumbo,
right?
Using all, yeah, exactly. So when I see people, I mean, sometimes I'll be wanting to interject and give them like a history lesson on it, but then it's like, I'm gonna just keep my mouth shut because it's just gonna like backfire and everybody's gonna have their own say so about it. But it's one of those things, man. It's a whole like bunch of things we could discuss about food, but this was a decent talk, and I would love everybody out there listening to go ahead and let us know their cultural foods in their areas. I'd love to hear what's going on in different parts of the country or even in the world. Man. I'm sure we got some people from Istanbul
Istanbul
listening
Let's
to
go Istanbul.
This. Turkey, Yeah, Japan. Let us know what's a cultural food. It's a staple in your town, your area, your wherever you're at. Let us know.
Yeah, wherever you at. Yeah, definitely want to get some of them food traditions because yeah, it is interesting to hear about food from other places. You hear about people putting random stuff in gumbo, but then again, gumbo. I think my mom described it to me one time as, it's just a pot full of a bunch of random stuff. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
It's saying
exactly.
it's a gumbo. It's not. The word gumbo doesn't sound like souffle or doesn't sound like bisque. You know what I'm saying? It sounds random.
Yeah.
Shout out to B Rob. So yeah, man, it'd be interesting to hear other people's food traditions and sort of where they lie with them food traditions. Yeah, I don't know, man. Yeah, but it's a good talk. A good little topic for our anniversary edition show. Man, it's crazy. So now at this point, you know how it's been for almost 3 years, going strong now. JQ's that careless whisper, and we tap that love box. This is a love box you can talk about in work or out of work.
Yes, indeed.
So here we go. Here we go. So hey, if you live in a place that has amazing food traditions and nothing's questioned, you know what you're eating because that's the style of food in that area, tap your love box.
Nice. If you are at a job where your boss is constantly grabbing on her mammary glands or pickle word in her mouth, you feel no way about it, tap your love box.
Nice. All right. If you have some trifling, loud, drunk, be parking in their grass neighbors, and you ready to go, you tap your love box.
Ready to go. Man, let's see. Let's see. If you've been riding along the highway in your vehicle and the hood just decided to randomly open up and smash in the face, tap your love box. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm that lucky guy.
That is crazy. That's crazy. Wow. Let's see here. Oh, okay. If you have not told your kids yet that the Easter Bunny ain't real, tap your love box.
If your kids don't even care or know about the Easter Bunny, tap your love box.
Man,
I'm speaking about mine. My kids don't even get Easter baskets.
Yeah, that's funny. That's funny. My kids do, and one of them had sort of a breakdown, a little breakdown the other day. Trying to find out if the Easter Bunny was real. So I couldn't lie. I mean, obviously they know the reason for the season is not Easter bunnies, but I couldn't lie.
It's not? What? It ain't about Easter bunnies laying eggs? Colorful
No,
ones
man,
like that?
it's just like Christmas, man. Jesus is the reason for the season. You know what I'm saying?
I could have swore the season was about Easter bunnies.
Resurrection.
And chocolate Cadbury eggs. Or maybe it's just doo-doo. Alright.
Yeah, definitely doo-doo. But, man, I had to say, it's funny when that happened. I was like, now's that moment when you have to tell them. No more lies.
Did you tell him about Santa Claus?
I mean, he basically put it all in one. He was like, so, you telling me that the Easter Bunny, Santa Claus, and who else? Easter Bunny and Santa Claus. I thought there was somebody, a Tooth Fairy. Who does that? Are they real? Are they real?
It's like,
It was
yeah,
a very-
we all hang out
yeah.
together.
Yeah. Me and Mommy know him really well. So, yeah, you know,
Yeah.
I had to break it down and tell him the truth. So, he was like, I knew it. I sort of knew it, but I wanted to ask you anyway. I knew it though.
Oh, did you shed tears?
Nah, he didn't. Yeah, well, he did. Like later on, he came back. He's like, crying. He's like, oh man, I'm sorry, Dad. Yeah,
Oh. How long before he tells his little sister?
I think he said he's not going to tell her anything. He's going to let her find out on her own. But whatever, man. I mean, we'll tell him and they'll get it at some point. But you know, I think he did say that he sort of knew. So,
And a giant turkey that comes at Thanksgiving.
yeah, no, there's no giant turkey that comes at Thanksgiving.
What?
The
Are you
Kool-Aid
serious?
Man is real, though. The Kool-Aid Man is real. That dude who jumped through your wall. Hey,
Oh,
Kool-Aid.
yeah. That's probably why I got a foundation problem now. Alright. Man. Well, I don't have much else.
If you think the best food song ever was Eat It by Weird Al Yankovic, tap your lip.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. That was.
Or, if you think your milkshake brings all the boys to the yard, is the best song ever. It's a great one, too.
That was pretty great. What about Weird Al's I'm Fat?
Yeah, that's all right.
Man,
There's a
I
lot
guess
of
it's,
good songs.
it's probably the aftermath of Eat It, but, you know,
Yeah.
yeah.
You know, if you think that Passion Fruit by Drake was the best food song ever, definitely not. Peaches and Cream.
112.
Yeah, 112. Lollipop.
Lollipop. Double burger with cheese.
Cheeseburger in Paradise. I don't know, man. There's a lot of good songs out there. I don't know. Mr. Ice Cream Man. Masterpiece.
Mr. Ice Cream Man. Yep.
You know. I have a question. And okay, so if you think rappers are out of place for hating on Lil Nas X for his Old Town Road, tap your lip eyes. Because I've heard that, I don't know, a lot of rappers have come out against him, and more recently Dave East has said that his song is whack, and you know, it's funny because you know, Lil Nas X doesn't really care regardless. You know, those people who say that he sort of rose to the top, or he rose to this level of fame, you know, sort of nefariously, or you know, sort of like too quickly. You know, they said he did it the wrong way. I don't drive with that, man. I think it's ridiculous. I think everybody's entitled to their opinion, right? But also, when you're making art, you know, it's not your fault that your song vibes over somebody else's with a certain portion of the country. This guy's from the country. He rapped about stuff that he does, you know, or he knows about it. You know, his experience, which is what it's all about.
Was that a fact though, or was that just did he come out and say that's exactly what he does, or did, or has experience in the past, or was that just a joke?
Yeah, apparently that's what it is. Apparently, you know, that's where he's from. You know, he rides horses. I mean, I remember in the NFL draft, the first day of the draft this year, you know, they noted that there's 3 or 4 players who were drafted who own horses and who are horseback riders, and they're black kids, you know, from the South. So
that's a common thing.
It's a thing, right? So the fact that he put it on I don't know who, you know, codes it or who, you know, categorizes it as country or whatever it is, but you know, it came out on the country music charts. They stripped it off of there, so now I guess it's on the pop or hip hop or something else like that. But you know, regardless of who it is, you know, regardless of what music it is, you know, you're talking about your experiences or whatever. You know, he has a great beat to it. You know, it's a funny, catchy tune. Maybe Dave East is mad that he doesn't have anything that's funny and catchy like that. I don't know. Or maybe some other rappers are mad that, it seems like this kid, put out one song and all of a sudden it blew up. And these guys have been grinding for years and they haven't.
Yeah, I mean, some of these guys are just like purists, and I could understand about the purity of keeping that particular art, but we'll just have to see next year if Lil Nas X drops another song that's going to be just as catchy or just as popular, or if he's just a one-hit wonder.
Yeah, that could be it. But then I have to say, like, what part of the art is art? Because the guy is rapping.
Yeah. I mean,
it's not a multi-bar song. He basically has like two verses, right? So maybe it is, but what is, like, how do you define the purity of rap? Because that could be a lot of different things. Because you have guys like we talked about before. You have guys like E40 who doesn't necessarily rap on beat. You have guys like but he always ends on beat. So I'll say that. But then you have guys like Blueface, who we both I don't like him per se, but he also doesn't rap on beat, but people don't like him. But you have guys who rap perfectly on beat, people love him, don't like him. So I don't know.
But then that doesn't really. I mean, E40, and that doesn't really have anything to do about being pure with rap. I mean,
I'm just saying, So what is purity though?
I mean,
spoken word rap, or what?
It's not necessarily that. I mean, if you listen to Dave East, he's a traditional. He's a rapper's rapper. He's a traditional type.
He's a technical guy, right?
I mean, technical. I mean, he's just a. It follows along with this. I guess I don't really want to call it a format, but I'll just say a format of how everything has gone from the 80s through the 90s. He would have probably fit in along perfectly in the 90s. Early 2000s. But then, of course, once technology came about, people started experimenting with whatever, throwing it on the internet, which has been a great thing and as well as a bad thing, in the hip-hop industry. I just feel like Dave East is he's not saying it's not art. He just said he thought the song was trash. And I could respect it. A lot of people did think the song was trash. I mean, I think it's catchy. It's ringing. The first week, I guess, that everybody started playing it, it was a catchy song. I was jamming. I was bumping to the beat and whatever, and to his cadence and how he flowed on it. But am I gonna say, oh my God, this guy is like the second coming of a elite lyricist? No, not at all. But I think Dave East he's the type of guy that's about lyrics and substance versus popularity and whatnot. I'm not defending or offending either one of them, but that's why I feel Dave East is thinking in his head.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I don't know, man. I like I said before, I know and I believe everybody's entitled to their own opinion.
Yeah, it's subjective.
But when you look at the history of rap, past, present, and you compare rappers from every different part of the country, every different style, whether they're fast, slow, whether they're technical, not. There's consistency in some realms, but then there's no consistency in some other realms. So it's just like any art. It's just like a painting, right? There are certain styles of painting, certain brush strokes or whatever you would call it, or pen strokes or whatever it is, that you would call it. But everybody has their own style. So I'm just trying to say this: when Nelly came out with that, who was that? The Texas Tycoons came out with country rap tunes, and Nelly did the thing with Cruz. I didn't hear anybody coming out and say that. I just think this is a young guy getting hated on because but then again, some of those guys have been around for a long time, right? So, but then I think this is just one of these guys who, maybe had his song on SoundCloud or something else like that, and it just blew up. And he didn't quote unquote put in the dues that other people have put in. And I don't always think putting in your dues is necessary if you have talent, because there are people out there that are extremely talented and they can put in whatever dues that they want to do. You know what I'm saying? And they'll never make it, or sometimes they will. But you know, I don't think that I think you miss a lot of talent if you just look at the guys who put in their dues. You miss a lot of talent. I know that there's consistency. I know that there's longevity. I know that there's creativity that you know sort of spans the course of time, rather than one or two really good songs. Like, I'm not saying every one hit wonder has a place in the Hall of Fame, but I am saying that if you just, I don't know, I personally think if you just look at guys that have been around for a long time, then you're gonna miss out on some talent that is that also deserves consideration. So I don't know, but I get his point. I get the point.
Yeah, I mean, it's a long conversation for me. It could go on forever, but yeah, I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Whatever. But then right after this guy's song on the radio, you'll hear like a Blueface song, that Tatiana song on the radio, and then you'll be questioning time, space, and existence.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Anyway. Anyway,
wow.
Well, yeah, man. Whatever y'all got for your love box, let us know. Happy anniversary to you, Jay.
Same to you.
Cousins for life, but show partners for a few years now, and it's been great. So, on that note, tell the people where they can find us.
All the things. Well, be on the lookout for some new possible hashtag Blackout Podcast merchandise. Maybe. Yeah, just maybe. We'll see. Yeah, with Twitter, Instagram, hashtag Blackout Pod, iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, SoundCloud, Anchor, Spreaker, maybe Spreaker, YouTube. Email us topics, hashtag blackoutpod@gmail.com. Send us a voicemail, 353-BLAKPC or 353-252-572. If you guys are playing video games, want some cool gaming stuff that comes in a box, hit up bossboxes.store. Enter Blackout 10 to get 10% off your Boss Box subscription or any other past Boss boxes. Yeah, there you go. Yeah, hit up hooksrub.business.site, or you can just go to Etsy, search for some hooks, rubs, and spices. Get yourself some good tasty stuff for the summertime, and yeah, check out that We Smoke Meat TV. Get yourself some nice recipes to cook out in your backyard when you're smoking. And there you go. I would say hit up Hey It's Jay, but it's been a while since I uploaded anything. It's an expensive habit that I have, and I'm kind of trying to slow down. But maybe you'll get some throwback videos from past stuff that I have. Maybe you'll get that soon if you care about that type of stuff. You like art and designer toys. Yeah, hit me up. Let me know.
Yeah, definitely check it out. Definitely check out Hey It's Jay. Some good videos on there. And yeah, We Smoke Meat TV. I'm trying to add another unboxing here soon. So yeah, definitely peep those.
Sweet.
And yeah, man. Thank y'all for listening. Definitely appreciate y'all. And I'm blacking out.
Blacking out.